So what went wrong for Team India? Joining us now from the sports desk, our correspondent Sambuddha, and from Kolkata, our correspondent Prema. Sambuddha, if I can begin with you, what went wrong?
You know, Pragya, one must keep one thing in perspective, and that's the fact that these guys are humans. They did try their best, but they're not infallible. I mean, we treat them as gods, but at the end of the day, there was a simple mistake on their part, or a series of mistakes, which has actually cost them a place in the second round. Now, we at ndtv have always believed that, we shouldn't just glorify them so much and then send them crashing to earth once they've lost or whatever. Last year when India was doing badly, we started this whole campaign called the SOS campaign, which was Send Our Support, where viewers SMS'd us. And we actually showed all these SMSs to Rahul Dravid. And you should have seen his face when, he knew that the country was actually, everyone was behind him. People were backing the Indian players to do well. At the end of the day, worse things have happened in cricket. And that's the beautiful part of sport. In 1999 in Taunton, India had knocked Sri Lanka out of the competition, and now the wheel has come full circle. They've knocked us out of the World Cup, virtually out of the World Cup, basically. So, and there are some very sad precedents which must not be followed. In 1994, the Colombian Andres Escobar, he was shot dead in a pub just because he had scored an own goal in the World Cup. Recently, when India lost to Bangladesh, there have been effigies that have been burnt. People have destroyed MS Dhoni's property, and these are things that really shouldn't happen. Because at the end of the day, these guys, one must remember that for them as well, it's a great dent to their pride and dignity, the fact that they've crashed out in the first round of the World Cup. For many of them, this is their last World Cup. Sachin, Saurav, Kumble, Ganguly. For a lot of these guys, this was their last chance to really win a huge trophy for India. And at the end of the day, Pragya, I again say that, things have to be seen in perspective. They're not going at the taxpayers' expense. It's the BCCI which has sent them. One, obviously, as Indian fans, understands because, we love them so much and we follow the game so passionately. But one must keep a healthy sense of balance and perspective when looking at this. This is a cricketing defeat. It's not a national shame. Yes, at one level, it's one of the most humiliating things to have happened to Indian cricket. But worse has happened. Look what Pakistan are going through at the moment. And one must remember that this World Cup has already been marred by deaths and by controversy. And it's already claimed one life. For heaven's sake, let there not be another more.
So let's look at Sri Lanka then, the team that won. What did Sri Lanka do that was right, that gave them this winning edge?
Well, they did the basics right, and the big difference there was the fielding as well, That was one area which would really have cost India 20 to 30 runs is what they save in the field, and India really were a bit sluggish. And, just the fact that their Sanath Jayasuriya was out, and you could see that he was struggling as well. But despite that, the youngsters also stood up. Chamra Silva stood up, and you had Upal Taranga, the opener. He played a fantastic knock. Whereas for India, the middle order capitulated once again. Nobody really showed any backbone. But once again, these are human failings. One mustn't, really believe. Actually, the experts have been saying that it's a lack of self-belief, which has really cost India a place in the next round. Talent and experience, that was all there. But again, it's not as though they've become villains overnight. They're still cricketers. There's a match to play maybe next month, maybe a while later after that. There's a tour of Bangladesh coming up. Life goes on, and that's what we must remember, Pragya.
Right, Sambuddha, life goes on. Many thanks for joining us. Prema, that's the sort of mood Sambuddha is talking about. Life goes on. One should take